provide us maybe some kind of a camp overview and what it's like, getting Cam and Lewis back this week, how that helps you?
Yeah. It's really been fun. A lot. This is a great group of kids. We've added some kids to the roster through the portal and other situations, and I mean it's been fun with these guys. They're working it behind all. They're eager. They want to learn. They want to be better. So it's been a fun group to be with.
We've had several folks come through here with interviews and talking about Jashad Stewart,
Yeah.
adding good weight. And just could you maybe talk about him specifically, what he's doing for you?
Yeah. He has been. When I first got here in the spring, we started out in the spring, and he was very raw. But one thing you couldn't deny about him, he played very hard. He ran to the football, did a lot of great things in that aspect. But then as he started to learn the system, learn what we were doing, and be better fundamentally, then he started to become this dude that I didn't think he was going to be right away. And right now, man, he's playing hard. He's being physical. He plays with a great pad level. He's running to the ball. He understands the system. He's doing a lot of great things for us right now.
Coach, same thing, similar deal with Terry Hampton. No matter who comes in here, they talk about Terry,
Right.
And he really wasn't like a glorified recruit if you're talking about the recruiting world. So talk about what he's shown you and given you right now.
Terry's been very impressive. This is the first opportunity, I guess, during camp is to have a chance to see him in pads, a person, and all that. But, he's strong. I guess you can say he has heavy hands. He's a defensive lineman aspect. I mean, he plays with great pad level, and the fact of the maturity and all the different things that he adds to the room. I mean, he's been a great addition for us, and man, we're great to have him because he's going to definitely be a big part of our success this year.
Two kids coming in later today, Zach Williams and Eric Gregory. Can you just kind of talk about it? And how much is Eric playing inside? I know he's playing both, but how much inside out is he playing?
He's playing both. We're moving him around a good bit. Right now, we're just trying to fit him in in both aspects because in this league and in this game, inside, you never know what happens. And the more versatile you are, the better you are as a group, as a person to your value to the team. And both of them have done a great job. Zach has done a great job. He's, one of the things that I challenged him about earlier in the spring is becoming more physical, and he's definitely taking that to heart. He's being more physical. He's doing playing harder. And so I'm definitely pleased with where they are right now.
Coach, you guys ran a little, for us, the first time I guess we've seen the first group with 3-man front,
Mm-hmm.
and most of the camp has been 4-man. But how much do you see yourself going back and forth? Is it going to be dictated by the team you play, or what you guys feel about your own personnel?
Yeah, well, we're a multiple defense. I mean, and Coach Odom does a phenomenal job with our guys and all that. But we're multiple. We're going to play both. I think it's going to come down to what fits us best in certain situations. So you'll see us in 4 down some. You'll see us in 3 down some. And that's who we are. And that's who we've been from the beginning. I know a big part of what they did last year was 3 down. And probably because of the numbers. But, we feel good about where we are and right now. And we feel like we can be versatile and we can be multiple in a lot of situations.
Standpoint, what's the biggest challenge recruiting defensive tackles? Is it just there's not a lot of 6'3", 300-pound guys that can fast twitch?
Right. Well, the biggest part is just everybody is 2 positions in the country that everybody recruits heavily every year, and that's corners and defensive linemen. And so you're going to be recruiting against the top programs in the country every year, and part of what we do is just, our deal is just want to get them on campus. And I think when we get them on campus, we can sell them what we have. And we have a great university, great pride about our university, a phenomenal head coach that preaches and believes in the family atmosphere. And I think the kids feel that. And a lot of kids want that more than just, hey, give me the X's and O's. They want, hey, what can you do for me after football and during the process?
Coach Pittman's really high on Nico Davia. I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
Okay, and so Pittman was really high on him when he talked about him the other day. Just what has made him stand out to you so far?
He's a physical kid. He's raw, but a very physical kid that runs hard, plays hard. Right now, the challenge is just learning and understanding the defense and how he fits in the defense. Because being in high school, a lot of times when you have bigger players and kids of his caliber, what they do is they have some freedom. And in our defense, we're a gap sound defense, and but he just always seems to find his way around the football. And so it's hard to take a kid off the field like that. And so now it's my job is just two great guys that work with me, and Keith Jones and Kelvin Green, those two guys that work. It's our job to get him ready to play, and I think he'll be ready to play for us at some point this year.
And then how have you been settling in as a newer part of the staff? And has anything surprised you since you got here? Or
No, I've known of Coach Pittman for a long time, and he's been, in this business, he's regarded as one of the best in the business, personally in every aspect. And there's some guys on the staff that I knew, and it's been a great addition. I've been in this state before, was here for 4 years with Coach Knight at Ouachita Baptist, so I know about the pride and the state of Arkansas and what the University of Arkansas means to the state. So it's been fun.
Coach, going back to Nico, Gregory has been working inside and out, but he's an older guy. Nico sounds like he's doing a similar thing. How tough is that, especially for a younger guy?
Well, it's very tough for a freshman because, you get them in one position, they're comfortable, then you put them somewhere else, and then all of a sudden their head starts spinning. It's like you're starting all over again. He started out outside. We moved him inside a little bit to play some inside, but then we're doing both. We're trying to, like I said about Eric earlier, the more versatile we can make our kids, the better we will be along the year, because it's just inevitable. Things happen throughout the year, and you have to have them ready to play, and the more versatile they are, the better we'll be.
Coach Pittman said Jordan Dominic's first few practices were pretty rough, but has gotten a lot better. How have you seen him transform over the last 10 practices or so?
Yeah, they were rough. I guess rough would be an understatement, but I tell you, he's really come along. I personally, I just don't think he understood our standard and what we're looking for, but he does now. Our kids have done a great job of bringing him up to that point, and he's bought in, man. He's playing hard, he's running hard. My challenge to him is to continue to keep his weight up and become more physical and do some of the things we're asking him to do. And I think he's going to be a big help for us this year.
Isaiah, he's obviously a key guy in there and a real vocal leader.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't worked with him now for a while, going back to spring. What's your take on Isaiah and how Important he is to y'all in there?
Zay is kind of as solid as I've ever had. He knows inside and outside. He can play all of them. He's always coaching the younger guys. He's always teaching the younger guys. And to have him in the room, it's really been fun because I can throw things off of him and put some pressure on him to grab these young guys and continue to teach them and coach them when they're not in the game. And he's done that. And it's been fun watching it. And, and between Isaiah and Terry, it's a battle where they are right now. And both of them are doing a phenomenal job.
Cam was out for a while. He's back. How's he doing? Where does he fit?
He's doing good. He's doing good. A little rough the first day, just coming back, but he's fine. He's got back in there, man. He's wide open right now.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about Eric Gregory. When he's being productive, what is it that he's doing particularly well? And did you come into camp with maybe some particular points of emphasis with him?
Well, one of the things we took out of spring practice was the same thing. Same way I challenged Zach is the same way I challenged him to be more physical with his hands. He's a big kid, man. When you see him, he's 300 pounds. But when you look at him run, he looks like he's running like a linebacker. He can really run. And it's been fun watching him grow from the time I've gotten here up until this point. And he's become more physical. He understands it. He's a very quiet kid. He doesn't say a whole lot. So when he does say something, everybody listens. And so it's a fun group, man. It's just fun to have those guys in the room. And Eric's been really good. He's been really good. He's done a lot of great things for us this camp.
Question about Jackson. Didn't have him in the spring. What kind of mileage do you think you can get out of him?
Well, I'm hoping we get a lot out of him. I tell you, he did a lot of good things this spring. I watched him progress through his, coming back off of his injury. Then I saw him a lot this summer, move around, do a lot of great things in his movements. And so I know he can move. My only question was, how physical will he play? And man, he's answered that question already. So now it's just getting him back into football shape and getting him back football ready. And I think he's on a good track for that.
For Dorian Gerald, what he's gone through, what can you get out of him this year, maybe?
Yeah, well, man, DG's done a great job. When he decided to come back, he and I sat down. We talked about a lot of things. Obviously he went through a rough patch last year with his injury and some personal issues off the field with his family. And man, he's just, it's been hard. But I tell you what, I love the kid. He does a great job, and I think the maturity factor in the room, and then situational things of what he can do for us will be really good. At the same time, and this is the first time he's been back since his injury as well. So he's working through some rough patches, but he's going to be fine.
At that end, we've seen Zach and Jashad mostly with the ones.
Mm-hmm.
How far do you think your depth can go?
Well, my whole philosophy is this, and I tell the guys all the time, if the defense is better with you on the field, you play, period, end of story. I don't care if you're a freshman. I don't care if you're a senior. That's my philosophy. When I'm talking in our room, that's my philosophy. When I'm talking in recruiting, that's the way it is. And so that puts pressure on those guys up front to know, hey, I've got to show up every day, and I've got to work every day. And it gives the guys that are behind them hope that, hey, I can go win this job. And so, I think we're going to be fine outside. It's still that some of them are still young, and some of them might have been here for a couple of years, but they hadn't played a whole lot. So in my eyes, they're still young. But I think we're going to be fine, and it's just going to be a process.
To follow up with Jordan Dominic earlier, you said one of his challenges is keeping the weight up. What's he at right now, and do you have a target weight for him?
Well, I think he's around 245, 250 right now. I like for him to be about somewhere around the 255, 260 range. And he's doing a good job with that. But, it's camp. He'll put some weight back on after camp and all that, so he'll be fine.
Coach, I was curious if there's anybody specifically emerging maybe as your top pass rusher.
Right now, I tell you, we got a lot of guys that's giving a lot of great effort. Josiah Stewart right now is doing a great job. Nico has a lot of just talent, a lot of raw talent that needs to be developed. Landon Jackson, all those guys are doing. They're all different. You look at Nico, he's a 6'3", he's a 200. I think he was 75 pounds or something like that. And then you look at Landon, he's a longer guy. Look at Zach Williams, he's a longer guy. So they all have their different body types, and we're working, hey, what's best for me? What's best for them? Over just trying to teach, hey, this general pass rush concept. And I think we're getting a lot better at it. But I think a big part of pass rushing is effort, and we've given that effort a lot this camp.
Defensive line coaches talk about wanting to have a 1A and 1B on the defensive line. I was curious, from a percentage of snaps standpoint, obviously it changes game to game, but what would be an ideal number of snaps for a starting defensive lineman? And do you feel like you could possibly have a 1A and 1B?
Well, with the play the way we play, because our standard is the way we talk about with our kids, our standard is the way we play on defense, the way we run into football and all of that. With how hard we expect our kids to play, if you're looking at an inside guy, I'm thinking 40, 45 snaps a game. If you're looking at an outside guy, which he's going to be in special teams as well, probably somewhere around the 50 range. But here, my philosophy is this, and then we talked about it yesterday with guys, is I'll always go in at the beginning of the game with the group, and then at that point it's about who's performing and who's playing well, because everybody's not going to play well on the same day. It's just it just doesn't happen all the time, and so that's big for me, being able to grab this guy from this group, and let's put the best group on the field at that point in time, and let's get it done.
Yeah, follow up on that. It's going to be pretty hot on September 3rd, 2:30, and
Right.
11 a.m. the next week.
Yep.
How do you feel about your depth at defensive tackle, and how many guys would you maybe like to rotate it, specifically at those inside spots?
Well, we'll be fine. Because we're practicing in the heat right now, and we're pushing our kids hard, so we'll be fine. And my deal is I want to rotate as many that's ready to play. I'm not going to put a guy on the field if he's not ready to play. But right now, we're looking at probably 5 or 6 guys we feel good about, and then but it's still work in progress. So we've got a lot of time, a lot of practices before we get to September 3rd, but every day is a grind. And that's the way we talk about it. We got to be better.
Your time at OBU, I guess that was a few years ago, but
Yeah.
of course, Dominic was in here the other day, and he was at Monticello.
Right. Right.
Obviously the Razorbacks dominate this state, whether it's
No
media,
question.
fans, whatever. Do you remember being a young guy? I know you've been around, but thinking, wow, look at the Razorbacks. That'd be pretty cool to coach up there. What do you think about 2 guys at a D2 school in Arkansas? Now you're on the Razorbacks.
Well,
staff?
it was huge because when I was with Coach Knight at OBU, we used to actually come up for camps and coaching clinics and all of that. And we came up not long. I don't know how long the facility was up, the weight room and all that had been up at that time, but I think it was fairly new. And man, just to see the facility, I'm looking at all the facilities it has, like, it's phenomenal. And then now to be here and be a part of it and then see all the changes, because I don't even think this part was here during that time, but to be a part of it, man, is really great. And like I said, it's great to be a part of this staff. It is, which he and I had never worked together, but the funny part is I'm the oldest guy in the room right now, and so that kind of hit home the other day when we're sitting in the room and we're talking ball, and I'm looking around and I'm the oldest guy, and I'm like, oh man, this thing's passing me along pretty quick, but he's fun, man, great coach, like I said, and it's a great staff to be around.
Coach, just how do you feel about the pass rush right now? The defensive line being able to get a pass rush, and is it tough? I mean, what's the challenge to have a 3-man front to get the pass rush, that you want and stuff? Well,
it's always challenging when you're only rushing 3 and they've got 5 or 6. I mean, you're looking at a double team on every one of them right away. But it's just like a lot of people ask me about holding and things like that in this league. I mean, it's only holding when they call it. So, to me, it matters if we're rushing 4 or we're rushing 3. I expect the same. I expect guys to have great pass rush lanes. I expect them to get to the quarterback. And like I said, that's still a progress, something that's in progress. And the guys are working hard, so we're getting better at it. And, we'll see what September 3rd, what happens on that day.
We kind of talked about you personally, but taking the job, like interviewing and getting a chance to come on this staff and, work with Sam, work with Barry. What did that mean to you?
Man, tremendous. Like I said, I've known about Coach Pittman's, his personality and the type of person he was or he is for a long time. I've known that for a long time. And to meet Coach Odom, I was at another school in this conference when Coach Odom was at Missouri and all of that, and I've known a lot about him. But to be around and work with him on a daily basis, man, it's unbelievable. Just to watch him and listen to him and sit down and bounce things off of him. And then, a lot of coordinators are, I don't want to use the word, well, a lot of coordinators, they want to do things their way. But he is such an open guy. Hey, let's do what's best for us. And that's great to be a part of it.
Dorian was just having a phenomenal spring. And what are you missing by not having him? And how's he doing with his rehab?
Yeah, you're not wrong. He was having a great spring. And it's tough not to have him out there. But, he's bought into his role at this point of being a leader and talking to the younger guys and being a motivational guy in the room. And, he is definitely probably the most outspoken guy in our room. But he's very he gets after it. So if he sees him lagging and dragging around, he'll get on him pretty good.
I know you guys haven't put in the game plan for Cincinnati yet, but I'm sure you watched them over the summer. I think they have all their starters back, and 3 of them are like preseason first team, all conference. Just wonder what you think about their offensive line. What kind of challenge that's going to present in the opener?
Well, I mean, it's always going to be a challenge. I mean, they were basically a Final Four team last year, and so they've done a great job. And we haven't spent a whole lot of time on them at this point. Right now, it's about us and about getting us where we need to be. And when it comes time for us to start talking about them, we'll start talking about them. But obviously, they're a great program. They've done a great job. Coach Fickle and his staff has done a great job. And so, man, it'll be a fun day.
You guys brought in 3 D-line transfers last year. The D-line coach before you brought in 3 D-line transfers a year before that. Is that a trend that you see continuing, or would you always like to hold some spots in recruiting for transfer D-linemen?
Well, first of all, this portal thing makes everything different. But you always want to set a base, and you want to set a base with high school kids. You want to have a good base of things. There are going to be times where you're going to bring kids in to kind of fill a need or fill a hole. You don't want to make a living in that, but it's definitely an option. But we want to do a great job of building a base with high school kids, and so we can have kids for the longevity of their time, and not having kids jumping in and out, being here 1 year, leaving, and this and that. But that's part of the football world right now, and that's just we're just fitting in where everybody else is fitting in.
Coaches got to go out in the evaluation period for the first time since COVID. What was it like for you recruiting to Arkansas, and what recruiting territories are you focused on?
Well, I'm down in the El Dorado area, down in Fordyce, or down in that area. And it's good because a lot of the coaches that were in the state when I was here before are still here. And it's great seeing a lot of them because I haven't seen them in a long time. And, man, there's a lot of great players in the state. And, obviously we want to dominate our state and then get out and try to find other players in other areas that's going to help us be successful and reach our goals. But recruiting in this state is something special because, like I said, the high school coaches are so dedicated and so passionate about their kids and this university. And so it's great to be a part of it and great to see some of those guys.
Spot recruit, I guess. In addition to Arkansas. That's what it is. We all have a certain area in Arkansas, and then we're basically, and we have out of state areas as well. But hey, what I've learned a long time ago, you got to take care of your room, make sure your room is right, and then hey, work other areas. And we do a great job as a staff bouncing off each other in certain areas and all of that. Supposed to do a little bit of pass rush stuff. I was curious if he works with you in terms of like some of his pass rush moves and stuff like that.
He's worked a little bit, but not a whole lot. Drew is so natural, and when you get kids like that are natural with a lot of their pass rush ability, you don't want to mess it up. You just want them to go do things and do what they do and then play off of it. And he has that ability. And we're going to do things that's going to allow him to be who he is, and we'll play off of him. And then there's some times where we have things designed directly for him and other guys as well.
About the other side of the line, because we were asking the O-line about y'all yesterday.
Uh-huh.
So what have you made of what you see from this veteran offensive front? How good they can be?
Man, they're a great front. I mean, you're talking about Ricky and all those guys, man, they do a phenomenal job, play hard. And you're looking at the offensive line that led all Power 5 in rushing last year. And to go against that group every day is only going to make us better. And we're, as they say, iron sharpens iron. We're really, really working hard against them, and they're working hard against us, and we're trying to make each other better every day.
What's his upside? What's his potential for Zach Williams?
Oh man, he's gonna be great. I think he has such natural ability to. He's almost like he's smooth in a lot of things that he does. He's in and out. You find him, you see him in a bad position, but all of a sudden, the snap of a finger, he's worked himself right back where he needs to be. I think he's going to be a really great player for us. And I'm excited to watch him play. I mean, he does a lot of great things. So I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Eric. I'm excited about the whole group, to be honest with you.
You mentioned the offensive line. Bo Limmer, we were talking about yesterday, was just puts up ridiculous weight room numbers.
Yeah.
I was curious if there's anybody on the defensive line who maybe could match him or is maybe a freak in the weight room.
I'm going to tell you, Terry Hampton I think he eats the weights in the weight room. I mean, he is as strong as I've ever seen. I mean, he can have a guy in position and hip toss him in a heartbeat. And he's very, very strong, like I said, and explosive in his movements. So he does a great job, and he'll probably be one that can give him a run for his money.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. BetOnline, where the game starts.